This may well be Satan's most ingenious scheme for undermining the belief in the sufficiency of God's Word.
God surrounded himself with archangels. Among them was Lucifer, the bearer of light.
You are going to hell. In a curious twist of events, Satan was taken up as a hero, an admirable rebel against authority.
Turn them over to Satan.
You are going to hell.
Welcome to the Modern Satanism podcast. I'm your host, Reep. I'm a priest with a Satanic Temple, although the opinions and views expressed here do not necessarily represent those of the Satanic Temple. Keep that in mind, please. Now, some of you might remember a gentleman, by the name of Tom Raspotnik, who I had on the podcast towards the beginning of the podcast run, and I think the general opinion was that conversation I had with Tom Raspotnik, and it was mainly about his problems with the Satanic Temple and his inability to understand that the word Satanism might have a different meaning than the strict definition you find in the dictionary, and his inability to grasp the concept that the people from the Satanic Temple are not theistic Satanists. They don't claim to be theistic Satanists, and they don't claim to speak for theistic Satanists. They never have, and I doubt if you will ever see that become the case in any point or time. But Tom Raspotnik cannot grasp those concepts, okay? This show is going to be about Tom and a little trip I took to Michigan. And I don't know how you people live in Michigan. It's so fucking cold. It's amazingly cold in Michigan. But being in California, I had to take a 2,000-mile trip to protest the slaughter or killing of animals in ritual sacrifices for Satanism or for the Dark Lord, which Tom Raspotnik when I interviewed him, didn't even claim to believe there was a Dark Lord to sacrifice anything to. But I guess he's not quite sure what Satanism means to him, and that's okay, but we'd like to see a few less animals die needlessly because Tom can't figure shit out. So, after I did the podcast with Tom Raspotnik, he got a little upset, felt like I trolled him, but all he had to do was click one little tag or box below the email I sent him, and he could have got a full bio on me and found out exactly who I was, and I didn't lie to him. I just didn't make it entirely clear because I had assumed that he had figured him out himself. But I guess somehow it's my fault that Tom doesn't do his research. So he got bitter, and he started making up lies about me. I think first I was a sex offender, and then we jumped to, he went to the, how's your retard son, because I have a son with cerebral palsy, Tom calls him the retard, which I don't really have a problem with, except for the context he uses it in class. And then Tom made the jump to claiming that I had somehow inappropriately touched my daughter when she was younger, and claimed that an ex-girlfriend of mine had attested to the fact that I admitted that I had inappropriately behaved around my daughter, and it couldn't be less true. I don't know where this fat idiot gets these made-up stories, and I don't even want to know. I don't even want to be able to understand the level of idiocy and selfishness and narcissism and stupidity and moronic lunacy that this guy needs to possess in order to come up with this shit. And after this happened, I started hearing about it turns out it's Tom's MO. That's what he does. Tom accuses people of being sexual predators, sex offenders, child molesters, pedophiles. That's what he does. It's the only trick in his bag. And I'm not going to accuse Tom Raspotnik of shit that I don't have any proof of, but from my experience, I'm 45 years old, when people do that, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, and I'll let you figure out what the reason is, okay? And it's been on many occasions that has turned out to be the case. Maybe I'm wrong this time. Maybe it has nothing to do with it, but I'm telling you, it's a red flag to me. something that, I would be worried about if I was close to a person who behaved that way. Now, I had the opportunity to go to Michigan and make the public around Tom Raspotnik aware of his behavior so that they can be so that they can react adequately or however they think is appropriate to that type of behavior. If they're okay with it, if the people where he lives are okay with it, and he knows all the cops and he knows all the public and his community, and they're all good, they're like, Tom, go ahead, kill all the goats you want. We don't care. That's fine. But I don't think the people in his community were aware of what was going on. In fact, now at this point, I do know for a fact they weren't aware of that, because some of the people I talked to had quite the reaction to learning the news of what Tom was claiming he was up to. Quite the reaction. In fact, I think it would be safe to say they were fucking pissed off. So I was given the opportunity to take a little trip and bring this awareness to the public. And I gladly accepted the offer. And the Satanic Temple paid my way to get me out there, and I'd like to thank them very much for that and the opportunity to do some activism, be involved in some activism, and really doing some good, what I think is good, and helping to educate people in a way so that they can live a more safe life. And not only that, but I was looking forward to meeting Tom Raspotnik and actually talking to him, because I tried to call him, but he hung up on me, if you'll recall, back in another podcast. And so calling Tom Raspotnik didn't work. So I was glad to have the opportunity to actually sit and talk to Tom, or at least talk to Tom man-to-man, because I've always believed that it's better if you just talk to someone and talk it out, Not to do any violence towards him or his family, but just to talk to him and ask him, Tom, what the hell are you thinking of when you're saying this shit about me? Because maybe he's a little detached. Maybe he gets overwhelmed by the internet, gets all excited, gets all pumped up, and does some stupid shit that maybe he doesn't mean. So I figured in person, maybe he would realize, you know what, maybe the shit I'm doing is harmful, and I should stop. So I figured it would be worth a try to talk to Tom. Well, unfortunately, I went to all the places that I could figure out that Tom might be just to have a chat with him, and it turns out that Tom knew before I came out that I was making a trip, and I guess he all of a sudden found out that he had to take a trip to Texas. So I missed out on talking to Tom, but I did get to talk to his wife. And after I talked to his wife, which is on video, and you can find a link to that video on the modernsatanism.net website, along with this podcast. Right below it, you'll find the videos posted on YouTube. I didn't harass Tom's wife. I didn't put a camera in her face. I didn't get in her face. In fact, I thought it was very gentlemanlike to her and polite and respectful. I told her who I was. I asked her if Tom was around. I asked her if there was a way I could get hold of Tom. And I gave her a flyer so she wouldn't be aware of the things that I'm uncomfortable and other people are uncomfortable with her doing. And I think the way she reacted was less than respectful and a little bit loony, to be honest, because I attempted to say my piece and leave, and I was told that she was going to stick to me like glue. She was going to sue me. She was going to call the cops on me. She was going to call security on me, and that I was trespassing. And all I was doing was shopping and fighting for some animal rights. Animals have rights too, So after my visit with Tom Raspotnik's lovely wife, I guess, Tom decided that it would be in his best interest to totally tell the story in an untruthful manner and twist everything that was done and make up the story to fit whatever he thought it should be, and to claim that I ran out and scared and I was confronted by other shopkeepers, which never happened, and that I ran away, and that I was possibly even sexually harassing his wife or attracted to his wife in some way, which is, oh my God, I'm sorry I even had to mention that once, but it had to be said. A fact that I find greatly disturbing, I'll put it that way, okay? I wasn't approached by any security. I did attempt to wait for Tom's wife because she wanted to talk to me, and I told her, I'm going to go have a smoke. If you want to talk, we can talk. I had my cigarette. I was done with my cigarette. I really didn't feel like waiting around to hear her cackling at me anymore. So I got in my car and I left because I had plans on coming back the next day, which I did exactly that, to talk to the management. And the management didn't want to hear anything I had to say and asked me to leave the premises. They were polite to me. I don't think they were reasonable, but they were polite, and I was polite to them. There was no confrontation. The cops were never called. I was never told or contacted by any legal authorities or any law enforcement or any security guards at all during my time in Michigan. And that's a fact. And I know Tom Raspotnik wants to make up bullshit, and he can do that all day long. And I can't prove that his made-up shit isn't true, because you can't prove things that people make up aren't true. And I'm not going to try to. All I'm going to do is tell you the truth and hope that Tom Raspotnik has a sudden, what do they call that word? A sudden epiphany, and realizes that he's full of shit and he couldn't tell the truth to save his life. And maybe it'll help him change so that he can live a better, more honest life from this point on. I doubt if that'll happen, but Tom, I believe in giving people every opportunity, at least once. Now, after I had gone to the residences that I thought Tom might be residing at or hiding in, I did meet Tom's father, who was a very kind gentleman. I was very respectful to him. We had a very short chat. I gave him a flyer so that he would be made aware of what was going on, and I went about my way. I did not harass Tom's father, or I wasn't harsh or mean to him in any way. I simply asked for Tom, and when Tom wasn't there, I asked him to give him a flyer when he saw him, because Tom was madly driving to Texas to get as far away from his home as possible, which is unfortunate, Tom. Come on, I'm not a bad guy. Now, Tom Raspotnik's response to my trip to Michigan is nothing less than disturbing, in my opinion. He proceeded to threaten my daughter, first of all, and I have a 21-year-old daughter that Tom Raspotnik seems to wish great harm to, and I don't understand what brings pleasure to Tom, so that he thinks it's good to do that, or he enjoys to do that, to threaten 21-year-old girls that have done him no harm. I don't know why he thinks that's okay, but for some reason he does. But unfortunately for him, my daughter has been raised by a father who taught her respect and self-confidence and how to hold herself, and if Tom Raspotnik ever makes the very poor choice to confront my daughter, I think he'll find himself very unpleasantly surprised. And again, I don't wish any harm to Tom, but I'm sure as hell not going to let Tom come up on my daughter, and do what he was with her, whatever it is he wants to do. I can only guess that it would be harm, because that's the insinuations that have been all over Facebook, so I guess I can support those there, right? I'm not making shit up still. When the threats against my daughter didn't work, Tom informed me he would be coming out to my house in California. Why Tom didn't want to come to Michigan, where he knew I was, and sit down and talk to me, never even suggested it. Hey, let's meet somewhere and talk about this. This has got out of control. No, instead, Tom Raspotnik, in his great wisdom, decided he wanted to threaten to come to my house in California while I'm not here. And I don't know, why else would he come to my house while I wasn't here except to fuck my shit up and maybe harm people that I have at home? I can't think of any other reason. Was he just coming out here for fun? What the hell's he doing? Why would he tell me about that? If he wants to come out to California, I don't give a shit, but I don't need to know about it. There's only one reason he'd tell me, because he thought it would intimidate me. But Tom, it's a fail again. I hope you're getting used to it by now, I'm sure. So I had a wonderful time in Michigan. It was a little cold, like I said, but I did get to meet the Detroit chapter, and I'd like to give a shout-out to them, then to Jex and her crew. They were, and Jason, of course, who was my tour guide until 3 in the morning, which was awesome, and Colin, his girlfriend, and to Sam, and, what's up, you guys? Hail Satan. They were wonderful hosts. I had a great time. Best dive bar. Great food, and a great tour of Detroit, so that I actually saw Canada for the first time, which was not as exciting as I thought it'd be, to be honest. Sorry, Terry. But I did see it, and all the people I interacted with were great, and were very understanding of my whining about the cold on occasion. I drank some beers. I did a podcast. I kept in touch with the people that have supported me, and my friends, and just really had a good time. It was enjoyable. I'd never been to Michigan before. I don't want to go back, but it turns out that might be something that I have to do again in the future, for whatever reason. On this podcast, you're going to hear some of the recordings. Oh, and I guess I've left a few things out. Tom Raspotnik also informed me that he had been at his shop or his home when I had arrived to talk to him and give him a flyer. I would have been shot. I would have been no more. I assume that's what he meant. I don't know if Tom Raspotnik thinks he's Billy the Kid or what. And I don't know if Tom Raspotnik makes a habit of just gunning down people who come near his house, but he sure makes it sound like he does. And I don't know, maybe that makes him feel tough or thinks he sounds tough, but I think it makes him sound like a frickin' utter moron. And someone who is probably not the best type of person to have running around loose in society. I think that most reasonable people would agree with that. So, Tom, you might want to check yourself on that type of rhetoric in the future, because do you expect people to believe you, or are you just bullshitting? It'd be nice to know, because either way, it's just dumb and not smart to do, okay? Because even though I'm peaceful, not all people are. And you might come across an individual who takes you up on your threats, and then you have a gunfight at your house. And you don't want that, do you? Or worse, at the Gibraltar Center, where innocent people could be harmed. Who would want to do that? Tom Raspotnik. But hopefully Tom will see the light and decide to act like a reasonable, responsible member of society. Wouldn't that be nice for a change? So all the death threats, all the threats against my family, just roll right off. Because you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound. I figured that I didn't plan on living to be this old anyways, so all my time is bonus time. I don't give a fuck. Now, when I arrived home, I was happy to see my family, even though they were late to pick me up at the airport, and I'm still kind of pissed off about that. But it was good to see my family, good to be back in the California sun. We took a little time to hang out in the outside cafe, and after a night of very enjoyable night with my girlfriend, my phone rings, and there's a text, and it's a guy threatening to kill me and my girlfriend and light me on fire and do something odd with the tire to me. I don't know. Is that a fetish thing, the tire thing? Because it seems odd to me. I don't understand how that came into play. But, and I'm not going to say that Tom Raspotnik was responsible for it, but the timing seems odd, you know? And that's one thing that Tom might want to keep in mind, too. He said, you know, bad luck happens. Well, yeah, bad luck does happen. Maybe it's just bad luck that I got these death threats from a random person who lives, I don't know, about 40 minutes away from me. Maybe it's just bad luck. Or maybe it has something to do with my activities during the past weekend, which is only 2 days before. I don't know. I think that's something we'd have to think about, won't we? And because I don't like to have death threats, and because I'm a responsible person, and because the guy who was threatening me also threatened to kill the cops, like a responsible citizen, I went to the local police department and had a nice chat with a couple officers. And I have the audio for that. I'll probably save it for the next podcast, because this one's going a little longer than I wanted to anyways. But they assured me that they'll come get to the bottom of this threat and figure out what the hell's going on, because I think they were a little concerned about the fact that the person was so comfortable with threatening law enforcement and the lives of people who have done him no harm, or her. So we'll have to wait. I can give you a case number on this so that you can call and you can actually get information for yourself if you'd like. And that case number would be 150-128-023. You can call the Fremont, California Police Department and find out exactly where that case stands. I would suggest that maybe you don't annoy them about it, but unlike Tom Raspotnik, I can provide some data to prove that I'm not full of shit, and I'm not fucking around, and I'm not making shit up. Okay? I'm not fabricating anything. So, the police, like I said, the policemen I dealt with, and I'm usually not very fond of police, but these gentlemen were very professional and assured me that one way or another, the case would be solved. So, I'm looking forward to that. We'll see how that goes. Have a police report as soon as they get done with the investigation, which is ongoing, I guess. Last I heard. Now, like I said earlier, I've got video documentation of everything I did, everything that Tom Raspotnik has been making shit up about. There's actual video of what actually happened, and I would remind Tom and other people who want to believe him, he wasn't there. He was in Texas, hiding, okay? He had every opportunity to come home and meet with me. He had plenty of time. Because, like he said, Texas isn't far from California. It sure as hell isn't far from Michigan either. He could have got home. You know what? Or he could have called me. But instead, Tom decided to text me a bunch of bullshit. So, Tom and I went back and forth in text. And I will admit, they got kind of childish and dramatic at points. But it's text. And what the hell? You know, he wasn't really interested in conversation anyways. There were no threats on my part. But there were plenty on his side. And I'll be posting all those little text interactions on my blog soon enough. I'll make sure and keep you in the loop on that. Is there anything else I need to tell you? I wish we didn't have to have the podcast all about this jack-off, but after you listen to the conversation I had with Zach Black, and after you listen to some of the sound portions of sound that Tom posted on the internet after my trip, his opinion on me, and some of the things he said about me since I've been back. I guess I'm an alcoholic now, too. And he's turned over all his evidence to the authorities about me harming my daughter. Funny how none of those things popped up on his blog, though, isn't it? Don't you think a person like Tom Raspotnik would actually have the data and maybe take a screenshot? Like, If he told me he was in California. But the funny thing is, Tom can't figure out how to use the fucking camera on his phone, because not a single picture that he posted was actually taken by him. They were all Google search results, which seems odd to me. Who doesn't take pictures of themselves when they're on vacation? I'll tell you who, Tom Raspotnik. And you know why? Because his vacation was in a make-believe land where they don't have any fucking cameras. Now, you're listening to Modern Satanism, and I think first up, we'll have the conversation I have with Zach Black, kind of goes over some of the things so people can have some more background, and then we'll listen to the great and wise Tom Raspotnik talk about, all kinds of stuff. But first, my daughter, who doesn't give a fuck about any of this, has a special message for Tom Raspotnik. I'd like to share that message with you and him now. Please listen well, Tom. It comes from the heart.
Hi, Tom. This is Jessica, and I just wanted to tell you to fuck off and have a good day. But mostly fuck off. Oh, and I love my dad. And one more thing, fuck off.
Hello.
Who are you?
An angel.
What's your name?
Satan. Uh-oh. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Zach, what's up?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
How was your vacation?
My vacation was great. It felt like work, but it was good.
Nice.
Yeah. It was productive, I guess, is the word I would use.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm basically just moved back to San Diego, trying to get reestablished back here. Nothing interesting too much. Got a whole new line of Satanic International Network shirts coming out.
Yeah, shirts are sweet. How can I fucking get one of those fucking shirts?
Oh, it's easy, man. When I get them in, I'll advertise that they're here, and then it's basically I'm selling them for like $20.
That's the problem. I don't have any fucking money. That's always the catch. As I go, it's like when I want a beer, I don't have any money. They're like, fuck you.
Well, yeah, I made the mistake last time of like, of course I gave a bunch to my friends, and then after I was like looking at it, and then I didn't really consider how much it would be to ship, like in the United States.
Yeah.
So I was selling everybody just $20 flat, and then I'd pay for shipping, and in the United States it's like $3, $4.
Yeah, but out of
so
there.
Oh man, like this guy hit me up in like Australia, it was like $15.
Yeah, and you gotta fill out the fucking custom bullshit too for the customs, right?
I don't remember doing that, but I remember
they just started that shit, so yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I just remember I'm like, oh wow, I just lost money selling this shirt.
Yeah, these shirts cost me money, you motherfucker.
Exactly.
Hey, you know what? All this shit, like the podcasting, cost me money too. So what the fuck? What do you do?
Yeah, well, it's the network cost me money. It's one of those things. It's one of those things, if you're passionate about, you find the money somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a passion for it, you find a way to do it. Just like drinking beer. We find a way to get a beer, one way or another.
Yeah, whenever my hosting fee is due, instead of drinking a 12-pack of beer, I drink a 6-pack of beer for a few days.
Priorities, right. So this podcast is actually going to be about a certain individual that I think that you're aware of, and I'm definitely aware of, named Tom Raspotnik. So this podcast is going to be about him. And I know you have a little history with him. I don't know, maybe do you want to give a rundown of your history with him and maybe your opinion?
Sure, 1 second, man, because this is a long story. I'm going to grab my other beer.
Make a long story short, grab a beer. Yeah, this will be cool.
Alrighty. Tom Raspotnik. When I first met Tom Raspotnik, he was going by the name of G.M. Blackwood.
Yeah. I give the cops that name today.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I had no idea who he was, and all of a sudden, when sin started to get big, he jumped on there and started spamming the site with this theistic Satanism bullshit. We're talking straight up spamming.
And to be fair, we don't care about your Satanism or whatever type of Satanism you are, but you know what? It's just like religion. When you try and force it down people's throats, fuck you.
Oh yeah, I mean, although I'm not a theist, I don't have a problem.
No, we neither of us are. So yeah.
What I have a problem is fucking morons.
Or stupidity. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which he's both, but yeah, he basically he got on the network and just started spamming, just cutting and pasting shit, just off it from his side or something that he wrote, and he was just being a fucking asshole, and so I just kicked him off, and then he comes back, or his wife comes back and starts doing the same thing. I kicked her off, and then...
Hey, wait a minute. You know she's a dragon, right? You can't just kick her off. She thinks she's a dragon, you know? You can't, hey, come on, Zach. You can't just go around kicking dragons off your site. You know what I mean? All right, sorry, go ahead.
So, like, apparently he's been, I was fairly new to the internet forums at the time, the Satanic Internet forums, so I really didn't know who the fuck this guy was, and then, like, some of the older veterans who've been kicking around the internet forums for a while were like, dude, that's fucking Tom Raspotnik. He's a fucking idiot. You know, I was like, okay, well, you know, I don't know the guy, but then he, like, comes back and like, oh, that wasn't Tom Raspotnik, that's one of my trolls. And he did this like 8 fucking times, man. I was like, fuck off. You know?
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like, for a little bit, I kind of ignored him, but I kept running into him, crossing paths with him. Yeah. And the funniest part about it is with the exception of a handful of people, when I mentioned Tom publicly, people are like, who the fuck is Tom Raspotnik?
Yeah.
So, like,
who is this fucking idiot? Yeah, who the fuck is that? Exactly.
Nobody knows him, and we ignored each other for a while, and then he reached out to me, you know, and he asked me, you know, hey, you want to admin on my network? And I was like, no. And but we started talking, and like we didn't talk all that often, but you know, pretty much kind of buried the hatchet, and I just pretty much ignored him, you know. And we tried to talk like a couple times a year or something, but I don't know. Time went on, and well, you know, when the Satanic Temple started to take off, he started to attack the Satanic Temple.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had just gotten on board with the Satanic Temple, and so I called Tom. I was like, Tom, you need to knock it off, man. I know you like to take credit for all kinds of stuff that you don't do. Like, there's one time he said he was actually behind the Satanic Temple. Like, whatever. And, you know, he did that with Sin, too. He said that he helped me create it once. I didn't even know who the fuck Tom was when I created Sin. So
wait a minute. He helped create Sin.
Yeah, I can claim that. Yep, he did claim that.
Yeah.
I basically told him to knock it off the Satanic Temple, and I asked him what his beef was, and his beef was so retarded. It was like, well, I don't like the monuments. I was like, who gives a fuck, Tom? Like, you know, that's not a good reason to, like full on, like, just slander and troll the Satanic Temple. And then he's like, well, you see, they support sex offenders. I was like, no, they do not. And he's like, you're the Adam Daniels guy. I said, one, Adam Daniels is not part of the Satanic Temple.
No, way far detached from it, yeah.
Exactly. And Tom still, and although Adam Daniels is a registered sex offender, it was his wife that signed the petition.
Yeah.
Adam Daniels had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all, yeah.
It was just Tom grasping at straws, trying to make excuses for being jealous and envious.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And that's what he does. If anybody gets a little bit of attention, or in the Satanic Temple's case, a lot of attention, you know, he will attack them relentlessly, but what he'll do at first is try to make friends. And then he'll try to take credit for other people's accomplishments, and then if the people tell him to go fuck off, then it's like he's like your enemy.
Your suffering will be legendary, Zach. Your suffering will be legendary.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. His suffering that he put down on me is he made a bunch of slanderous blogs about me that are not true. But that's what he does to people, because that's really all he can do is he makes little websites, little blogs.
We were talking about that tonight. I was talking about that with my girlfriend. How you look yourself in the mirror when and be I don't know, boasting to yourself when what you've done is you've made up shit. I mean, any motherfucker can make up shit. I can make up shit about you all I fucking want, and then people go, hey, can you prove it's not true? You know what? No, but I can't prove the fucking leprechauns don't fucking live outside my motherfucking house either. There's a fucking reason for that. You know what I mean? Fucking idiot. God, it pisses me off. Just the stupidity. Not even his action so much, is just the fucking level of stupidity he displays. It's like it should be unable to achieve that much stupidity in nature. I mean, really. You know what I mean? It should be against nature's laws to be able to be that fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think what he said is, in my case, what he said I was living on this winery at the time.
Yeah. I saw that. That was a cool gig, right?
Yeah, it was cool.
Totally.
I was living there with the founders, Thomas and Lisa, Sect of the Horn God, and it was
nice.
great.
Yeah.
It was great. And Tom made up this story that the winery is a front for the Mexican drug cartel and not a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Like the owners of the winery, would actually allow that to go on.
That too.
A multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah. Legit business. Yeah.
Legit business. Yeah. Tuscan Village Winery. So, and then he also said that Sen is a pedophile.
Pedophile, the pedophile shit.
thing.
Yeah, that's his niche. He always likes to.
Yeah, he likes calling people pedophiles and molesters and rapists and shit. My favorite one is that I have a pit bull that I beat that I keep chained in my basement.
Yeah, what's up with that? Because you know what? I always see you with pictures with dogs and animals and not doing it. You know what the fuck is up with that?
I think that's how I came up with this idea. Is like, oh look, Zach has a dog. I'm gonna make up this shit. One, I don't even own a dog, and I don't even have a basement. So, and if you ask people that know me, they know I love animals. I take animals in all the time at the winery, and I get yelled at for it because we're not supposed to. But
I can vouch for that too, because I've seen the pics and I've seen you with animals, and what the fuck? Yeah.
So that's basically it. When he started attacking the Satanic Temple is when, and he made up those fucking ridiculous reasons. I was basically just like, fuck off, Tom. And then he was offended. Oh, here's one funny thing he did too. You're getting a kick out of this. There was this allegedly, there's this website. I don't even remember. I'm probably still there, but just like whatever Tom does, hardly anybody cares or pays attention. Yeah. But it was a list of the most well-known Satanists. Okay.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
And Tom linked me to it, and the thing. And so these are the most well-known Satanists in the world. And it said this was independently voted upon by hundreds of people. Well, can you guess who was number one?
Satan?
Yeah, right? Yeah, I looked at it, and Tom had, of course, made this. And, of course, he was the number one most well-known Satan.
What do you know? So Tom spent all day making up some fake profiles so we could vote on this shit and trying to figure out how internet technology works so he could change his IP address and vote on it, probably.
Actually, no, he created the website.
No.
Yeah, and then because he wanted to get in, wanted to keep me when we were still on decent terms, wanted to keep me in good standing. He put me as number 2, and then he put I forget a few more people, but put it this way. Peter Gilmore wasn't even in the list. Now, come on, Tom.
You know what? I don't like Peter Gilmore, but fucking give me a break. You know what I mean? I don't like him, but holy shit, dude. I mean, really? I mean, the list, he'd have to be, yeah.
Yeah, Tom would be nowhere, probably not even in the top fucking 50, but of course, he's number 1. It's just, he does stupid shit like that, man. I mean, for a guy in his 50s, man, he acts like a fucking, not only like a retard, but he acts seriously immature. It's really weird.
It is a little bit weird. Yeah.
Although I did see a recent picture of him. I don't know if you posted it or what.
Is him and his wife?
I don't know. It's a picture. I might have been, but he's like.
Oh, sending us to a band, maybe.
I don't remember. I just remember he had a blue shirt on. What struck me is how old he looks now. The picture that he uses on most of his blogs and shit is a picture that's probably 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Now he's this big blob, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He's all gray and shit. It's why won't you just die already? Just fall down of a heart attack.
Either die or you know what? Embrace your obesity. Embrace your shit and just fucking be proud of who you are. At least have it. But I seen the picture of him and his wife, and I was talking to Doug, Lucian Greaves. I was talking to him about it on a text, and he was trying to figure out if they got married at a Comfort Inn, and I was trying to figure out who dug those motherfuckers up to get married. Because holy shit. And I've met his wife in person now, and I'll tell you what, you see the picture of him and his wife, just as fucking creepy in real life. It's not worse, and kind of stalkerish.
I've seen pictures of his wife, and holy Christ, man, she looks like she got hit by a bag of smashed assholes.
A bag of smashed ass. I love that fucking saying. Yeah, I haven't heard that for a long time. Last time I heard that, it was a dude that used to do my ink.
Nice. So how did you stumble across Blackwood or Tom Raspotnik?
Actually, I started. This is a little bit of a story too. I've been doing a podcast for 8 years called the Reapso Radio, and this aside from the Modern Satanism podcast, which is my favorite now, but the Reapso Radio podcast is my baby, and it's kind of my soapbox, if you will. So I do things for the Reapso Radio podcast that whether something pissing me off or something's interesting. So I come across the Satanic Temple doing the monument thing, and I hit up Doug. And Doug, being the kind and well-spoken man that he is, hits me back and says, let's do an interview. So, don't smoke, it's bad for you. So, we hit Doug up, me and my co-host, Al Stefanelli. Sorry, at the time. and we talked to Doug, and I decided that once I listened to Doug and I listened to the things they're doing, I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't join fucking groups usually. You know what I mean? I don't fucking join groups. I've pretty much been a lone wolf for the last 8 years, just doing my thing. But the Satanic Temple rang kind of true to me. Shut up, dog. So I started getting in touch with Doug and telling him, you know, if you need any help or doing anything, let me know. Well, he sends me a link to this Tom Raspotnik because this guy has been he's been on Discovery Channel. I don't know how the fuck he worked that fucking shit out, really, to be honest. I mean, I guess maybe media gets fooled sometimes about people's the perceptions that people portray themselves to having on the internet. I guess that's the only way I can.
Before, while it's still fresh in my head. Yeah, he was on that thing like fucking 15 years ago, and it was on there for like 15 seconds. So it wasn't even that big of a deal.
Yeah. Instead of 15 minutes, Tom gets 15 seconds. Big fucking surprise to that, right?
Right.
But the problem with him is, like you talked about the Adam Daniels thing, where he wanted to say that the Satanic Temple was had pedophiles as members. So Doug sends me a link to this, and I listen to it, and I'm like, what the fuck, man, is going on with this? So I hit Tom Raspotnik up, and I send him an email saying I'm going to do an interview with him. I don't tell him I'm with the Satanic Temple because I'm also a troll, and I don't give a fuck. You don't like trolls, and fuck you. But we have our uses. So I just asked him for an interview. He never asked, and I've got this about me on the emails I send that tells exactly what I'm doing, and I talk about I'm involved with Satanic Temple. Here, I've done this podcast, I've done these things. So, I mean, if he would have just made one click, he would have seen who I was and what was going on. I didn't lie to him. He just never asked me. So I do this like 2-hour interview with Tom Raspotnik, and holy fuck, I've done a shitload of interviews, literally with hundreds and hundreds of different atheists and satanic people, and because I used to do another podcast called The Angry Atheist, where I've just talked to an atheist, but I've talked to like hundreds of people, probably bordering on thousands of people. This dude bored the fuck out of me more than any motherfucker I've ever talked to. I mean, he was redundant and tough. It was tough to get a point across to him. He kept on, and it was painful to do the podcast recording, and I had to edit the fuck out of it to even make it enjoyable for the listeners. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But I talked to him about the reasons why he didn't like Satanic Temple and the problems he had with Adam Daniels, and you know what, Adam Daniels was a piece of shit in my opinion, from what I've read, and I don't know him personally, but from what I've read and what he said, yeah, you know what, he has some properties that I don't agree with. Let me put it that way. Instead of saying he's a piece of shit, I'll say I don't agree with his life choices. Okay, and that's fine. But he was never involved in Satanic Temple. He was never part of it. And Tom kept trying to make these correlations to the Satanic Temple, saying Satanic Temple has pedophiles, they have sex offenders, and it was just like, dude, no, they don't. No, they don't. Here's why. Do you have any proof? No, you don't. You know, you can't make the link. So, anyways, I do the podcast with Tom. I put it out, and once I did that, Tom put me in his target sites, which is probably one of the larger mistakes he's made lately. I don't want to say in his life, because obviously he's made a lot of mistakes in his life, but in the recent history of his life choices, probably the worst mistake he made was and he proceeded to I have a son who has cerebral palsy, and the one thing I've learned after doing the podcasting and hitting up people like Chip Coffey and just hitting up people I don't like Peter Popoff, Kevin Trudeau, people like that, where I just come after people, and you know, when things aren't right, they aren't right, so I say something about it, and I don't know if it doesn't always equal change, but always I like to get my voice out, so I've done that. Well, they always go after my kids as a last resort, so because they can't get me. So he started calling my son the retard, and you know what, my son really doesn't give a fuck about Tom Raspotnik, and Tom, keep that in mind. My son is a great soul. He couldn't do anyone harm on purpose if he doesn't have the potential. He doesn't have the capacity to do harm to people on purpose. He can't feed himself. He can't eat. He's a good kid. And for Tom to call him a retard, not really harmful, but you know what? It speaks to a person's personality traits. So then, after that didn't work, he started saying that I raped my daughter. Which, I'm a single father. I've raised my daughters from, I was there when she was born. I was there with her mom. Me and her mom didn't get along. No big deal. Everybody's known that story. You know, that story just goes the way it goes. You don't have to get along with your kid's parents all the time. But her mom was kind of dropping the ball, so I went to court, and I got custody of my daughter. And when she started school, I took the reins, and it was time for me to step up, so I decided that I would do that. And I've raised my daughter with a little bit of help, you know. And I'm very proud of the adult she's turned out to be. She's 21 now. She's turned out to be a responsible self-confident young lady who has a job and takes care of her shit and doesn't fuck around, doesn't let any dudes fuck around with her. Any dudes fuck around with her, they get a fucking mouthful of war from her. And for him to say that I've raped her or somehow abused her in any way is wrong and very problematic to me. I don't appreciate people saying that when I've done things that the best I could and never touched my daughter in any appropriate way. I couldn't imagine a parent who would. You know, people who do repulse me. I guess that's an understatement a little bit, but yeah. So I started going back and forth with Tom Raspotnik. You know how the internet works. You just go back and forth with people, and they say things, and they attack you and your character and go after your kids. And he threatened my daughter, actually, threatened to have things done to her. And so I warned Tom Raspotnik to shut the fuck up more than once, to shut the fuck up and quit talking about my daughter, quit talking about my son, quit talking about me. But the stump wouldn't listen, and I call Tom Raspotnik a stump with all due respect. And I know some people already know this story. I know some people it might be a drag, but this is the story. So I warned him to shut the fuck up, but Tom wouldn't shut the fuck up, and he's pissed off at the Satanic Temple. He's pissed off at me, and I guess his ego got the best of him. Where he wouldn't shut up, and it's not just me. It's you. And it's other people that when Tom feels like he's getting somehow he's not getting the credit for it, he goes after them. Just like talking about you abusing dogs, because he's fucking, you know what? He's got shit in his bag. You know what I mean? He's got shit in his bag. And go ahead.
Well, this is coming from a guy that admitted to sacrificing a goat.
Yeah. That's what we come to next.
But I beat puppies up. Okay.
Tom hears about the Detroit chapter of the Satanic Temple and gets pissed off about that. Because it's in Michigan, and Tom's in Michigan. And he obviously has a problem with that, so he somehow, and I don't know how the fuck he pulls off this, and he gets quoted in the USA Today article about not the Satanic Temple not being true Satanists, and how they sacrifice goats, and he kills goats, and he's killed them just for the fuck of it, because he doesn't like to eat them, really. So, and I have a problem with people who just want to exercise power over animals, because... really, is that a fair fight, really? I mean, I don't think it's a fair fight, in my opinion. I mean, fish are one thing. I fucking hate fish. You can kill all the fish you want. They're fucking stupid. But you're talking about a goat or a dog or animals that actually have some cognitive power and are aware of their surroundings and can relate to human beings on a level that's a little bit different from fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. If you have the need to torture or kill those animals just for the fuck of it, there's a fucking problem there. Not only that, but the Satanic Temple has done a lot of work trying to enlighten people to a different type of Satanism, something that's beyond the Anton LaVey, bless him, for what that's worth. What he started, where we've kind of taken it to a new level, where we're activists, and maybe we've modernized the original thoughts a little bit and kind of progressed a little bit, so that we people aren't weak, and we can take the weak and help them out maybe, and have a little bit of tolerance and a little bit of empathy for people. Tom's pissed off about the Detroit chapter, and it gets quoted in USA Today, and USA Today takes the drama that doesn't really exist and posts an article saying that there's a satanic feud going on, or some kind of dispute going on with Satanists. And you know what, Zach? One thing I don't understand is how the fuck does this motherfucker pull that shit off so he has any credibility with any media outlet whatsoever?
I bet what he does is he calls and emails all these media outlets and just says, hey, look, this is what's happening.
Just complains like a little bitch, right? Just
he
cries.
It would take a lot of time. Maybe his wife does it for him. I don't know, but to try to make this shit up so that the media will eventually grab onto it.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of. I mean, which isn't a bad tactic, but
yeah, I was guessing that's what he did too. So, anyways, it's in my opinion, and I don't know if you agree, Zach, but in my opinion, Tom Raspotnik, even though he's a fucking idiot and nobody listens to what he says most of the time, when USA Today is a national publication, and when he wants to say that Satanists are sacrificing goats and animals, that's to the general public, that's going to reflect on any time anybody hears the word Satanist. Yeah,
it will, man. He's such an attention whore, man. He will it makes all of us in general look bad, and Tom, I think that's what Tom wants, clearly.
And you know what? I'm thinking that's probably his motive too. I mean, he really wants to make Satanists. Well, he's got this old world, Dark Ages vision of Satanism is what he wants to portray himself as having, where We need to sacrifice to the Dark Lord, and people with mental illness or possessed by demons. It's the same type of fucking mentality, you know.
Yeah, he does. He frowns upon LaVeyan, Satanists, modern Satanists, Luciferians. You know, I've talked to him. I've talked to Tom for hours on the phone, unfortunately. And
holy fuck, man! That's fucking painful.
Well, it's always been spread out, like, you know, over, you know, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. But yeah, he considers himself a traditional Satanist, and he claims that he created theistic Satanism.
Yeah, he's a
which is
idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, we've got this. Fuck, this story's long and boring. We've got this problem with Tom Raspotnik talking shit about Satanists, saying that we like to sacrifice goats and kill animals, and the Satanic Temple's not true Satanists. True Satanists will kill a goat and just bury it for fucking fun because they're bored or some shit, and talking shit about me and my kids, and not only that, talking shit about you, talking about Doug Mesner, just posting a bunch of made-up motherfucking bullshit on the internet, and even though no one listens to his ass, there's some people that listen, and I have a problem with people that just talk shit, so I decided that I would fly out to Detroit and meet up with Tom. You're listening to the Modern Satanism podcast.
Did you actually ever get to meet Tom or no?
No, because Tom's a chicken shit pussy.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, Tom ran to Texas while I was in Detroit. For his own good, probably, and probably one of the better choices he's made in his life, to be honest. And let me make this clear. I mean no harm to Tom Raspotnik, his family, his father, or, well, a little bit of harm to his business because they kind of deserve what they get. If they go out of business, you know what? Good. I'm glad, to be honest. But I don't mean any physical harm to them. What I do is within the limits of the law. I talked to a lawyer before I went out. All the literature I passed out, which I had a bunch of flyers made up before I went out, and all the things I showed people and informed people about were all legit. I had links to the resources or the sources that I used, and there's links to the scientifically backed knowledge or information that people who like to abuse animals in the way that Tom Raspotnik does are very, very inclined to commit violence and harm to other people. I mean, it's like, this sounds cliche, but it's like harming animals is the cliche. It's the gateway to harming humans. When you start out abusing animals because you can have control over them, then it's small children or elderly people, and then it's people that you can go into their house and pull a gun on because they don't have a gun and you do, and you can do harm to those people, and it indicates you're more likely to have a mental illness that is socially unacceptable and not liked by people, because killing other humans is something we usually frown on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's no big secret that a lot of serial killers start out killing and torturing animals.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what the literature I passed out had. Not only that, but links to the USA Today article, which his wife Cindy is also quoted in, even though she tried to. And I've got video of this, and I don't know what I'm going to do about the audio for the podcast. I might work it in. If not, then I'll just put links to the video once I put it on YouTube, where Cindy Raspotnik claims that she has no knowledge of what Tom said. She does claim to have knowledge of what he said about me doing to my daughter, and Tom told her it was true, so I guess Cindy Raspotnik is a fucking idiot who thinks that everything her husband tells her is true. I almost feel bad for her.
Well, think about this. I mean, who's a bigger idiot, Tom or the woman that married him?
You know what? I don't understand. You know what? And I was talking to my girlfriend about that. Is Cindy, really? Get some fucking self-respect, really. Because look at the piece of shit you fucking married who makes up shit and is harming your business and doesn't give a fuck and just talks some fucking shit out of his ass and doesn't even have any respect for his fucking wife. None. No. Zero respect. Nothing for her. She shows me in the video, she shows me her business license. She has a legit business. And you know what? I'm glad she has a legit business. But if she wants to hang out with this motherfucker and be married to him, they're a couple, and she needs to either check him or not check him. And I told Cindy Raspotnik, once I turned the video off, I told her, Cindy, if there's one person that can talk sense into this stupid fucking stump of a fucking human being, is you. So either you do it or it keeps going. So, she followed me around this fucking... I flew out to Detroit. I already said that part. I went to Gibraltar Center where they have a fucking business, and I was passing out literature there. And I asked Cindy... I didn't go and harass Cindy because Tom's claiming I was stalking his wife. I really don't give a fuck about your wife, Tom, really. I mean, if she's fucking dumb enough to be with you, I really don't have any interest in with her, really.
Well, not to really cut you off, but I've seen the video in question. You were not stalking her. You were asking her simple questions. You weren't harassing her. You know, so yeah, that to say you're stalking her or harassing her is totally false, and you got the video documents to prove it.
Exactly. If anyone was being stalked, it was me, because she literally says, "I'm going to stick to you like glue." And I'm like, I'm just here shopping. And you know what? If she hadn't been on my ass, I would have bought some nice shit at the fucking Gibraltar Center. You know what I mean? They had these fucking rugs that were awesome. I would have bought one or two. You know, I had some cash on me. But she wanted to be a stupid bitch. She was threatening legal action against me, and I told her, go ahead, threaten to call security and the cops. I'm like, go ahead. So, anyways, I bailed out of the Gibraltar Center before they can kick me out, because I figured I wanted to come back the next day because I wasn't done yet. So I bailed out from there, and where am I at now? That's when Tom found out I was there. And as soon as Tom found out I was there, he went on to Facebook. And you know what? I understand that Facebook is a great platform for fucking keyboard warriors to literally take their fists and punch their keyboards and as hard as they can and try and fucking talk some shit. So I guess that's what Tom was doing that evening. And against his better judgment, I guess, decided to say that he was coming to California to attack my daughter. Coming to my house to try and get my daughter. And I don't know, it kind of speaks to Cindy a little bit more there. When your fucking old man threatens a 21-year-old girl in California and says he wants to come and get her, what the fuck you thinking, bitch? Divorce that motherfucker. For real. I mean, fucking have some fucking self-respect. Because you know what? I raised my daughter. She would never put up with the shit you put up with, you fucking Cindy, you fucking idiot. So he's talking shit, and I understand it's just internet shit. But I was my daughter. My daughter has a boyfriend that lives next door, and these boys are younger than me. Bless them. Those days are gone for me, but these boys don't fuck around. So we've got all that shit covered. I'm not too worried. So the next day I go back out to the Gibraltar Center, and I talk to the manager, and I can't remember to fucking save my life what the fucking prick's name is, but I know that he's walking around in some fucking sweatsuit and carrying a cup of coffee with a fucking baseball cap on. And if I don't turn my video off, he doesn't want to talk to me. I inform him that there's a group of one of his vendors who are engaging in animal sacrifice, and I'm here to protest it, and he pretty much kicks me off the fucking property. So I took a bunch of flyers. I left them on a goddamn bench outside. I walked around the building a little bit because security was obvious. They were outside already as soon as I got out the door. They were following me around, so I left a bunch of flyers on the fucking benches around the exits. And when I got out to my rental car, I left a bunch of flyers on the ground because it was a little bit windy that day, and I let nature take its course and blow those fucking flyers all over his goddamn parking lot. Because you know what? I feel bad about the littering thing, but not that bad. I'll get over it.
Yeah, well, that's what they pay people for.
Yeah.
So someone's getting paid to pick that shit up.
Yeah, and I handed it out to a few people, so fuck them.
Yeah, that's good. You know, if Tom's doing what he's claiming he's doing, which, is already quoted in the USA Today, I think his neighbors should be concerned. I'd be concerned.
They should be. You know what? They should be.
What was funny is we had talked about this going down, and I had called Tom and offered him an olive branch. I mean, of course it was a farce, but I wanted him to be distracted when this happened, and actually, he was so stupid that he actually thought that I wanted to, kiss and make up with him. And then this goes down like a few days later.
Yeah.
But the last email I sent,
I know, because you and I are texting during this whole time.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The last thing I said to him was basically, dude, you got to be a fucking idiot to actually have believed that I wanted to have anything to do with you, much less be your fucking friend. And I hope you get what you deserve, Tom, because you've been talking shit and passing lies and slander around the internet against so many people for so long. It was just a matter of time before, somebody actually put their money, and going to come up there and see you, man. You know, I mean, most of us will just dismiss your blogs and ignore you, but eventually you're going to come across the wrong motherfucker, and you did.
Thank you, because I was the wrong motherfucker.
Exactly. If I would have had some money, man, I would have donated to the Kickstart, but I didn't.
No, it's all good. Yeah. Luckily, I was funded. I can't say by who yet. I don't think. I'm still waiting to see if I can talk about who funded me. But
okay.
Yeah. I gotta find out if I can do that yet. But I definitely was there and looking for that fucking fat fuck for fucking 2 goddamn days and fucking not stalking his wife and trying to find out where the fuck he was at. It was fucking funny as fuck, though, because I went up to the stand and I was talking about, this dude's been saying I raped my daughter and calls my son the retard, which, you know what, I don't give a fuck if my son, I use the word retard all the fucking time. I'm not that fucking uptight. The word retard is something, you know what, you fucking do it. You're retarded, okay? Sorry. And my son, in all actuality, is retarded. I don't give a fuck, and he doesn't give a fuck. It's the context people use the word in that bugs me. You know what I mean? So I'm talking about this, and the dude, there's a dude there with Cindy, and he's like, he's obviously part of the shop because he's like moving shit around. He goes, "Hey, that ain't right." I'm like, "Right, motherfucker? What the fuck?" Nice. Tell this fucking stupid bitch right here who thinks he's a fucking dragon. I mean, I'm waiting for her to fucking lay eggs while she's following me around the fucking goddamn Gibraltar Center. You know, you're a dragon. Lay some fucking eggs, sprout some wings, fucking breathe fire, do something, you know? Fuck. Your makeup's not cutting it. And another thing, Cindy, no, I don't want to get too personal here, but fucking lay off on the fucking makeup, because I was afraid if she fucking smiled or her face moved too fast, that shit was going to fucking crush me, breaking off her face.
I saw that, man.
Fucking holy shit.
Holy shit, dude! She does her makeup like a goddamn raccoon, man. Yeah, it's like Cindy. You're not getting any younger, and you're not fooling anybody.
No.
Stop putting your face like a fucking clown.
You know, none of us are getting any younger, but holy fuck, bitch, embrace that shit. You know what I mean? Just go with it. Don't try and cover that shit up, because you're just gonna harm people. It's just all bad. As I'm doing this shit, I get kicked off the Gibraltar property, and I'm all good with that. I knew it was. You know what? I knew it was probably going to happen because they're not happy, and I'm on their turf, it's not my turf, and she knows people there, and she's fucking telling bullshit to me and fucking telling me she doesn't know what her husband's doing and blah 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 blah. So I'm all good with that. So I leave it alone. I got my video documentation of what I've been doing, which This PBR is a great beer. So, to be honest, I've got all my video documentation, and Tom, who's accusing me of stalking his wife, says he has police reports and all this bullshit, has jack fucking shit proof. And in the meantime, while I'm doing this, Tom's telling me he's in California.
Apparently, that's what he's saying. He's saying he was like in San Jose or something, but
yeah.
It doesn't really matter what Tom says, because one, he's a compulsive liar, you know. So
noted. Yeah, I concur.
He's been proven to be a liar over and over and over again. So who knows where the fuck Tom was? For all we know, he was hiding in his basement.
Yeah. Well, I heard from a legitimate source that Tom was afraid to come home while I was there. Which I don't know why he was afraid, because holy fuck, you know, I've never threatened Tom with any type of physical violence. There was a day when I would do that, but I'm older now and wiser, and my thinking always, the violence is the first reaction of people who are stupid and the last reaction of people with intelligence. And I like to think of myself as an intelligent individual, and it's my last resort. I mean, violence is my last resort. If you come at me, you better hit me pretty fucking hard, because I've had the fuck beat out of me sometimes, but I've always gotten up. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna hit me, then I'm gonna come back at you. But I'm not gonna be the one who throws the first punch at anybody, because I've learned in my age and just dealing with people, that's not the wise thing to do. And something that in my heart I would feel bad if I did do that. You know, it's just not the kind of person I am anymore. And despite that, Mr. Raspotnik thinks that Dr. Raspotnik, is he? I mean, I want to laugh every time I say that.
I know. Where did he come up? So in between delivering mail for some pseudo post office thing, he found a way to go to college to get a PhD.
I can't fucking believe. You know what? I'm not believing it. Fuck you, Tom.
Of course.
Because there's no motherfucking way that dude's a doctor. Not on his best day.
No. Even people that are friends with him were like, dude, what the fuck? He's like,
really, dude, take that DR off the top of your fucking... Yeah, take that DR off the fucking beginning of your name, because holy fuck, nobody's buying that shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Where am I at with the story? I'm still in Detroit. And I have to talk about the Detroit chapter. Thank you, Jax. Thank you, Jason, for the tour of Detroit. Me and Jason, who's one of Doug Mesner's old friends, we met up. We hung out at the best dive bar in Detroit that I saw while I was in Detroit. I have to say thanks to Colin, who's going to do a PSA for the TST. his girlfriend, who was awesome but passed out a little bit early. Michelle, who was the manager at the Artesian fucking cafe. I ended up my first night there. Thank you for the vodka, Michelle. And you know what? If I was gay, I'd totally be down for you, but I'm just not, bro. And who else do I have to thank? I have to thank Jax. I have to thank Sam. I have to thank Jex, the dude that Jex. I don't even know the other. If I forgot your name, I'm sorry. You guys, it was a blast out in Detroit. You guys, thank you for the beers. And Sam, when you order 4 fucking plates of nachos, you're too fucking drunk, bro. Okay? You can't go around ordering nachos from everybody you see. So we had nachos, we had sandwiches, we drank beer. Jason gave me a great tour of Detroit, and he was too drunk to wake up the next day. But you know what? I had a great time with you guys, and thanks for the T-shirt. And I think that wraps everything. I think I covered everybody. Oh, I also have to thank the people at Applebee's because they were awesome too. Even though I was sitting there with my Satanic Temple shirt on in the middle of Applebee's, and people were fucking looking at me like I was the devil himself. They were really great to me, and I got a couple free beers. So, and I have to thank the people at Hard Rock last night for giving me a free shot of that fucking whatever that fruity vodka drink was. Where am I at now? So, anyways, Tom's afraid to come home. I get on the plane, and I'm not telling Tom where I'm at. And I get home. I'm home for, what, a day? 2 days, right? So, Tom's texting me the whole time, just talking shit. And Zach, I'll send you the copies of the text so you can fucking laugh your ass off of this shit. Because I know it's fucking funny ass shit. He's talking shit. I'm talking shit back to him. He's losing every fucking time. He doesn't get it. He's posting on Facebook. He's making these fucking SoundCloud. Oh, sorry, I have to talk about this. Tom's making SoundClouds threatening to shoot me if I come near his business or his residence. And I don't know. The Gibraltar Cinders. You know what? There's a lot of fucking legit people there doing real business. I don't know if it would be welcome for somebody to pull out a gun and start shooting at me because I was handing out flyers. Don't quite know how that works. He said that he would. Michigan has a law where they can protect their business and their home, and I met Tom's dad too. He seems like a very kind and a nice gentleman. And I was kind of sad for him because his son turned out to be such a fucking piece of shit. I mean,
you know
really.
What's funny about Tom's dad is Tom will tell you that his dad lives with Tom and he takes care of his dad. You know, it's the other way around. That's his dad's house. When Doug filed the cease and desist gag order thing on him, the house is in his father's name.
Yeah,
so
and his father seems like a nice guy. Yeah. And his father was very kind, and I was nice to him because you know what, the dude, you know what, I have a daughter and a son, and I know there's a point where you can't control what your kids do, and I just feel bad for the dude because Tom turned out to be such a fucking piece of shit.
What did his dad say? What did he have to say in regards to the flyer and whatever you told him?
Well, actually, I didn't talk to him much after I handed him the flyer. He just said, I'll give it to him. Okay, thank you. And I said, thank you, sir. And then we kind of parted ways, you know. But I didn't, because you know what do you do, really? I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to wait for him to read the flyer and see that his son's a piece of fucking shit, you know?
Yeah.
I really don't want. You know what? I feel bad for him because he seemed like a genuinely nice guy. And Tom, maybe you take a fucking example from your dad and stop being a fucking asshole. Because your dad seems like a nice guy, and I'm seriously I seriously think that you're embarrassing him. You're ashamed. I don't know. He's your dad, so maybe he's not ashamed of you. But you know what? If he was ashamed of you, he'd have every right to be because you're a fucking piece of shit. Really. I mean. Your dad seems like really a kind fella. And you know what? Learn a lesson from him. Follow his example. Holy shit, he's your fucking parent, man. Fucking learn from him. You fucking
Check this out. I got some advice for Tom, because you know Tom's going to listen to this.
Yeah, he totally will.
Tom, if you spent as much time you did trolling and slandering others that you're jealous and envy of and writing coattails, if you spent that much time actually doing something and creating something, maybe people would know the name Tom Raspotnik.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you're not smart enough to actually create or do anything productive except for troll other people that are.
And make up bullshit about people. You know, make up bullshit about people. And Tom, holy fuck. Zach's got a point. Fucking do something. Instead of fucking talking shit, do something because you earn respect. You don't get respect by default. You fucking earn respect by your actions. Not just your fucking words and bullshit. You know what, Zach, we can sit here all night. We can talk about how great, what we've done for Satanism or how well the thing. But your actions. You fucking started a fucking network. And you know what, I do a podcast. And there's actions that we do that we create things for people to be able to interact and actually progress. Because we got to fight. The bottom line is, there's a whole fucking shitload of people in this country that don't fucking like us. And there's a reason why they don't like us, because we fucking want to help make things better, and they want to fucking be intolerant and fucking jackasses to people and stop people from being able to marry people they love, and they want to stop women from being able to control their bodies. And fuck that. We gotta fucking take care of this shit. And Tom, really, you want to fight about theistic Satanism or atheistic Satanism? Fucking shut the fuck up and do some fucking progressive shit. Because this fucking world isn't going to change if you want to stop. People like you being a jackass isn't going to fucking help. The things that we're doing.
Tom's one of Tom's reasons, as I mentioned prior, is his beef with Satanic Temple is, I don't like the Satanic Monument. So it doesn't represent all Satanists. I said, man, you know, what, would you be happy if you had your fucking face on it? Is that what you're upset about?
Exactly. hey, Satanism is represented. Be fucking happy about that, because there was a time when we wouldn't have a chance in hell. Pardon the pun, to do shit.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, if the temple wants to pick up the fucking gauntlet and fucking run with it, fucking bless them. You know what I mean? Fucking, you should be glad. You should be glad it's being represented in any form. You want to represent it in your form? I don't have a fucking problem with that. Theistic Satanists, you guys go and do your thing. As long as it's just like fucking religious people, go and do your motherfucking thing. But you know what? Don't fucking force it on me. Don't force it on my fucking kids, and don't try and fucking dictate what my government does based on your fucking made up bullshit. Because until you can show me in real life that you can fucking light a fucking circle of candles and somehow affect my life, fuck you. Okay? And it hasn't happened yet. And anybody who's listening who has a problem with that, fucking show me the fucking proof. Once I see it, I'm 45 fucking years old. What I live in is reality. I live in reality because that's what fucking works. Made up bullshit doesn't work for me. Reality, going out doing things and actually checking to see, hey, when I do X, Y happens. Okay, there we go. Let's do that. Oh, I've done X again, Y happens again. You know what? Pretty likely, I'll go with that. But when you fucking want to claim that you have some, what is it, higher, what's the magic they use? It's COS, it's higher magic, lower magic, upper magic, lower magic. I don't know what the fuck it is. Red magic, blue magic, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Greater magic and lesser magic.
Yeah, thank you. But whatever, you know what, if that works for you, that's good. But don't expect, until you can show me that it actually has an effect on the real world where I reside, fuck off. Really, fuck off. Shut up. Am I ranting a little bit? Sorry.
Oh, that's all right, man. All right,
you done?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done, man.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, bro. I appreciate it.
All right, now, link me to the edited version. So
You're fucking right, I will.
I'll help spread it around.
Yeah. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you later, man.
Peace, man. Take care. Hail Satan.
You may picture the devil as a cartoon, complete with horns and pitchfork. Let's join him.
And now we'll listen to a little Shea, Bile as our musical portion of the show. Hope you enjoy this. Coming up next, Tom Raspotnik gives his side of things.
Let the fires of a shattered sun condense the twilight and unfold the threshold to the hereafter. Let the beasts of unknown angles light the sky aflame and emblazon my sight with heretical heritage. Write upon my heart that sacred symbology, that ancient language of Nephilim angels, those words and names only a man can pronounce. In trapezoidal dreams and living visions, I've extended my perceptions past the fractal fragments of the mind's mirror, and through shadows glass forests I emerge with my solemn companions, the hounds of the barrier. Their voices are the echo screams of my dead fathers and the unwritten wishes of my children's future. Their eyes are oceans of my ancestors' reflection, the illustrations of a million madmen, the paintings of the unmapped infinite, rendered uncolored with pigments of the past. Their gazes are not only piercing but prolific ancient halls of intention, where stony talismanic dates, covered in carvings of inhuman faces, awake the progenitors of prophecy. Blessed by the presence of my companions, I dilate and die, sacrificing my mind's eye and every word of my life's work, so that I may absorb the sunlit skies into my own eyes, commanding the keys of bees to be to open the doors of my destiny. And from this mist, a formless corpse comes forth to sing songs to me, branded psalms sung in infinite octaves and silent keys. From these noblest verses, finally I hear whispers of the great law, a first gift presented by Set to the descendants of an endless desert. And then my transcendence is triggered, a cosmic weapon fired from the tops of pyramids. And I am the chosen one. I am a winged being stepping through space freely, the flare spotted on the sun. I am all the Anunnaki. I am life sentencing, sourced by divinity 50 billion years in the making. I am the beast of Eden, eating Adam's apple. I'm the vengeance of Lilith and the fruits of an endangered people. I'm the name of Legion, flowing downward like demons. The essence of 6 rivers and the crime angels once defeated. I am every vision of Ragnarok. I'm the footprints of giants and all the watchers watching from every mountaintop. On the dawn on the day of the last winter solstice. On the morning of magic on December 22nd. I am the first moment after the galactic clock stops.
So here comes Satanism.
Satan! 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 Satan!
You are, of course, listening to the Modern Satanism podcast. And now I'm going to play some of the posts that Tom made on his SoundCloud while I was out and still in Michigan. And he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He's trying to hide out, I guess, from what I hear. And after we wrap these up, I will wrap things up with a little commentary on my own.
I can tell you this. Boy, a lot of people think I'm dumb.
And here he is, that master of misinformation, Mr. Know-It-All.
Well, it seems to me that the Satanic Temple becomes kind of a group that, you know, survives on trolling people and survives on petty threats and legal paperwork and all kinds of things that can be designed in the mind. So let me tell you a little bit about what happened today. I'm calling on those in theistic Satanism to condemn this behavior of the Satanic Temple and Danny Paden. That's right. I'm going to say his name.
Okay, Tom, let's get something clear from the beginning. That my last name is Paden, not Paden, okay? I really don't expect you to get it right, but now you know.
Danny Paden, let's talk a little bit about his history that he has. He's a known criminal. He admits such himself as the angry atheist. Go figure, an atheist trying to talk for a Satanist again.
Really not sure how the angry atheist indicates that I have any kind of criminal past. I think, Tom, maybe I've asked you this before. Buy a fucking dictionary. Damn.
There's a reason that I'm talking about him today, and I'll get to this, so please continue.
Because I'm cool. Duh.
Anyway, I know all of you have complained. You're all like, quit talking about that dumb Satanic Temple, but let me talk a little bit about this. This angry atheist has called me, threatened me, again, dismissed as nothing.
Never threatened you, Tom. Proof. Proof is a good thing. Proof. Never threatened you once. So, yeah, maybe a little paranoid.
No fear at all. Michigan has a what's called the Castle Doctrine, so I don't know if those of you don't understand the Castle Doctrine or the defensive with a gun law in the state of Michigan, but if you come to someone's house, you will get gunned down. That's real simple.
I bet the Avon ladies really have a tough time in Michigan, Tom, if you get gunned down when you go to someone's house. What about the paper boy? What about the mailman? Does anyone get pizza delivered? Damn.
You're causing harm, you're assumed to be causing harm, anything like that. Well, today, a crime was committed, and we've seen the criminal who was bragging on Facebook just several days ago about how he's going to go on a trip, and we already know where his trip went to. He went to the Temple of the Ancient Dragon, which is our store, and tried to confront my wife, who...
If confrontation is asking, where's Tom at? I'd like to talk to him. I guess you could say that was confrontation.
Stood fast against him as a good theistic Satanist that she is. And meanwhile, he tried to record her and ask, well, what's this about? And trying to hand out flyers. And
no, I didn't try and record it. I did record it. And the reason why I recorded it is so that this kind of shit that you're talking about now is on record as all being bullshit and lies. And I did pass out flyers. So I wasn't attempting to do anything. I did those things.
Everything else, which was sorted by other shopkeepers who were in the area that came over. And basically, threw the fear onto Danny. And he ran and took off like a little baby school kid because he got caught and busted for what he was up to.
Actually, no. The shopkeepers didn't know what the fuck to do because I was dressed in a black trench coat and I wasn't taking any bullshit. And I went outside to have a cigarette because your wife wanted to talk to me. I got sick of waiting for her dumbass. So I figured, hey, no one's kicked me out yet. I'll leave now and come back tomorrow. So yeah, running away, not quite. Being logical, using my brain, there you go. I know you don't know how that works, Tom, but here's a lesson.
Let alone that he could have been, things could have happened to him at the store.
Yeah, because Tom's going to bust out his gun and start shooting anybody who comes to his store that he doesn't like. Right in the middle of Gibraltar Center. I'm sure they're really happy about that, Tom. Real great judgment. It is.
So I maybe he was smart, maybe he wasn't. But
he was.
You know, as far as having any kind of fear, there's no fear at all. I'm on the road. I'm in Texas, but...
Okay, if you weren't afraid of anything, what are you doing in Texas? That's a long ways from Michigan. It's a lot of fear away from Michigan.
California and Texas ain't that far away.
Nothing's far away if you go there, Tom. I'm not far away from your house either. A couple plane flights. It's not rocket science.
So we can assume that he's probably staying with the Detroit chapter of the Satanic Atheists. Oh, Satanic Temple.
Good one, Tom.
So maybe they're harboring a stalker who, incidentally, this is the same Paden that I uncovered.
Paden, Tom. It's Paden. Paden.
Some allegations about him molesting his daughter. So, I mean, now he's in our store harassing and stalking my wife. Not alone that earlier that the Satanic Temple tried to send papers to my father trying to stalk an 81-year-old man. Now Reap's trying to stalk my wife.
Okay, the allegations about me doing anything with my daughter, where's the proof? Where? The allegations of me stalking your wife, I have proof I wasn't stalking her. She literally told me, I'm going to stay on you like glue. I wanted to get away from her, Tom. I couldn't, okay? And the stalking or harassing your father, it was serving legal papers. That's not harassing people. That's doing legal. That's legally dealing with things. I mean, how hard is this for you to understand, really? How hard is it? Okay, tell us about your wife now.
My wife can take care of business, trust me. But if I was home, there would be probably no Danny anymore.
Why? What are you going to do, eat me?
Let's just say that. But anyway, and maybe a magician has to work some fun.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
But that trick never worked.
This time for sure.
But anyway, back to the issue at hand here. This criminal, who you should look down upon anyway as Satanists, who I provided a lot of evidence to, including the interview here several months ago with him talking to his girlfriend at the time about how he had a secret about how he felt like, something had occurred between him and his daughter, and it wasn't just a fight or whatever, as she got him to elaborate. It's a funny thing how building trust with certain people, you can get information out of them rather quickly, to where he actually did something with his daughter of a sexual nature when she was younger. Now...
Whoa, wait a minute. What proof? Okay? Is it like the Bible's proof of God? Tom says, so it's proof? Where is the proof, Tom? I want to know where the proof is. I want to see the proof, because I know for a fact there isn't a motherfucker I know who would want to talk to somebody as stupid as you, let alone build any trust with you, because you're a freaking liar. Straight out liar. And I hope you're enjoying all these lies you've been telling, because they're going to come back to get you, and you're going to be held accountable for every freaking word you've said. I know you've been getting away with this for a long time. That time's ended. That time is done. Mark my words. Okay? Keep blabbing.
All this information I don't now have. This evidence has already been turned over to authorities. So...
Oh, how convenient is that? We just gave all our information to the authorities. We don't have it anymore. We don't have any proof of it. It's just magically flew away to the authorities. Now they have it. Oh, and by the way, we can't talk about it anymore either. Wow. Isn't it strange how that works? Idiot.
And I can only mention certain things about these allegations because that's what they are at the moment. However, there is an investigation pending versus all of this, so stay tuned for some kind of breaking news in the future from that once that gets to that point. I've been told by officers of the court to basically not say anything other than that, whatever, and I could say things about allegations but not convictions, let's put it that way.
Yeah, because there's been no court case, there's been no real proof, and there's been no conviction. So really what you could say about it is the shit you've made up is about it. So let's just lay it out like that, okay? It's much simpler and way more honest.
So if he's in Michigan, and which I assume he's still in Michigan, he probably hitchhiked his way out here or whatever, being it just a few months ago he was begging for rent, that he tread rather carefully, because I know, thanks to the police actions and the sheriff's department, who don't like to play around when it comes to people stalking females, which he did come into our store and in a stalker manner, and then try to...
What the hell is a stalker manner? And why didn't I ever talk to any of these cops or sheriffs or anybody that doesn't like to mess around? I was in town for like 4 days. I wasn't hiding. I mean, I came to the Gibraltar Center 2 days in a row. You'd think if they wanted to catch me so bad, they would have waited there for the next day, because, duh, I was there.
I harassed my lady and tried to record certain things, which I'm sure he's willing to put up on his radio show.
Finally, you got something right. God, finally.
Asking questions and trying to question our marriage and things like that of a dumb nature.
And you got something else right. Your marriage is of a dumb nature.
Just showing his criminal behavior from that standpoint. If you're going to do an interview, Danny, you should ask, and I'd be more than happy to do an interview, and I'm sure Cindy would have too.
No, I did an interview with you, and I'm still trying to recover from the extreme boredom and the ignorance and the stupidity that was put on me. My fucking IQ dropped like 10 points just doing that interview with you. I'm just now recovering. You think I want to go through that again? I just wanted to talk to you for a brief moment, but you're too chicken shit.
Instead of trying to record people illegally on a phone or something, that in itself is really questionable behavior and behavior of a criminal as well. So...
No, Tom, because your wife, even in the video, says that she's aware that she's being videotaped. That's not illegal. Welcome to America, Tom. I know. It's tough to understand how freedom works, but yeah.
Anyway, we know that and it was reported to the sheriff's department about your situation, that, that you may have done something to your daughter, and they don't look really well on that. So, and then I did contact the state police also, and I forwarded a photo and things of you over there, so that way there's a little bit of a level of protection involved. So...
And here he is, that master of misinformation, Mr. Know-It-All.
It's going on the record soon, and good luck on that one. But this is also going out, if you're trying to come back around here and stalk us or whatever, I'm calling on Satanists today, theistic Satanists, to help out on this and try and anything that this guy happens to do. As a personal favor to a priest and priestess of Satan, is that anyone turns any tips in, and you can send those to the Temples of Satan at yahoo.com, and contact me directly. Any tips, anything like that I can turn over to the proper authorities.
Here's a tip. Shut the fuck up. Really. Anything that I do? What? When I take a leak, you want a tip on that? God, idiot.
Because stalking, I consider when you stalk someone's wife, that's a rather serious type offense. You can't step up to me because you're you're cowardly about me.
Yeah, that's why I came to your house and knocked on the door, because I'm afraid.
And the minute that security showed up, he shuffled off to Buffalo, which was probably a good thing because he probably would have been arrested. And after he was challenged by the local other shopkeepers that are located within this location. So...
What, you mean the fat guy running the lollipop stand? I seriously doubt if the dude running the lollipop stand was going to do anything. And I never talked to security, not once. Not the whole time. Not in the 2 times, not once, but 2 times I came to the Gibraltar Center. I never talked to security, not a single time. I talked to the manager. He asked me to leave. No security did anything, and no shopkeepers did jack shit. They didn't give a fuck. That, or they were too chicken shit to do anything. And you know what? Really, Tom? I mean, were you there? Because you weren't. Watch the video.
Obviously, he didn't understand that there's people of influence in this world. So I guess the next thing would be to, once he returns to California, to pay a visit to California. Being that he wanted to find me, I might just appear.
We've been waiting for you, Tom. I keep telling you that. You're more than welcome to come to my house anytime you like. I'm not going to shoot you down, but I'm sure as hell not going to welcome you. But you can come over anytime you want. Really, you are invited.
So, in the meantime, you don't know what can happen. Bad luck. There's a lot of things that can happen to you when you decide that you want to mess around with a magician or a magician's wife. And Cindy is as much of a magician as I am.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Presto!
And take care of business as quick as I can. I married her because she's a beautiful lady. I love her. But I also, one of her most attractive qualities is she's one of the stronger female magicians alive today. So, to think you ruffled our feathers or made us upset? No, you made yourself...
Your wife was clearly upset. Yeah. She threatened to sue me, call the cops on me, call security on me, yelling at me about you, how she can't control you, you're out of control. Yeah, she was a little upset, Tom. You might want to do a little better at trying to understand your wife's feelings in the future, because clearly you're a little, clueless about that.
Exactly. You brought yourself out into the portrait of the criminal you are. And those people who are, interacting with Danny, thinking this is funny, I got to judge your ignorance as low-lying fruit. This is not funny. So, those people involved with the temples of, these satanic temples, should really judge who is involved here. You had Adam Daniels being involved, who was a known sex offender.
Adam Daniels, never involved.
Now you've got Danny Paden, who is a alleged sex offender. For those of you who don't know his stage name, it's Reap Paden. He has a show, failure show. He's a failed blogger.
Yes, it's a failed show. Unlike a show that you do, Tom, where the phone rings in the middle of it, and you can't even figure out how to turn the fucking TV off in the background. I mean, listening to the recordings you've done hurts a lot, and I don't appreciate it.
He's a guy who just a few months ago was trying to fundraise for rent. Go figure, just like the Satanic Temple. Brian Warner leaves, and now they have to raise money for everything under the sun because they don't have really that legitimate an organization to fundraise like the Temple of Satan, which doesn't have a trouble at all fundraising. But that's another story. But
another made-up story, you mean?
Just so everyone's informed that if Danny Paden decides, if he shows up in your town trying to stalk you as Temples of Satan members...
how am I ever going to go to look for members when there are none? That'd be dumb.
Please report him, because I'm sure they will be looking for him shortly. And maybe not Michigan, but maybe his home state, because of these strong allegations that do exist. And like I said, it's not any fun out there when you're victimized by a sex offender. This is allegations to the fact of what his ex had informed us of. This information came from third parties. And, hey, I don't know exactly what the police are doing with it. I've just been told I can say certain things about it, but other things I'm not to speak about it. So,
I can't see, because I don't move.
Like I said, you need to be aware out here sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, especially with these people who are criminals. And we've seen that Danny is quite the criminal, and this will be, when I'm done, I'll make sure that everybody knows about this guy. So,
when you're done, what?
There'll be a lot of blowback, I believe, from this when I'm done. And
the last thing I want is a blow from you, Tom. Sorry.
I'll continue to make sure everybody knows exactly the behaviors of this guy and those people who are within the Satanic Temple. And I thank everybody for their diligence and support through all these different times that I've had to go head-to-head against the Satanic Temple. I'm really, just about the time you lay your head down to rest and you really don't want to fight with these imbeciles any longer, out pops a situation where one of their criminals decides he wants to come around and stalk my old lady. And, my old lady's very attractive, so who knows what he was really trying to do there. And
I think I shall now be sick.
Who knows what he's really trying to be up to, but I'm sure the police, if they can find him, will take care of him. Who knows where he ran off to. From what I understand, he was rather shocked that there was a lot of support there and decided to run off in a very quick manner. Security quickly closed in on our store. There is on-ground security there. The police department is just a short drive down the road.
All lies. All lies. Lies, lies, lies. Weren't even there, Tom. Shut up.
For police to show up, it's about a 3 to 5 minute thing, and often there are police officers that actually are within the building, and it's in a great area. I mean, it's in one of the bigger, nicer growth areas right near a Air National Guard base, so it's not that the police normally roam that neighborhood for any reason whatsoever other than to make sure that the many stores, and it's a lucrative property, are okay. To make sure that, these things don't happen. And
well, if that's a fact, they're not doing a very good job.
One can be rather hypocritical because I visited someone's store, but I didn't, try to cause havoc when I was at the store, and nor did I harass any individuals. I stepped into the store, and then I left after that.
Tom, that's not true. Get your story straight. Don't you remember what you've done yourself? Damn.
This guy decided that he was going to try to harass my wife, and basically, who knows? I from what I'm getting from the story, and she wasn't too upset about it, but, that he might have tried to sexually harass her as well, so...
Yep, because you always go to the sex thing, don't you, Tom? It always goes to the sex thing. Why is that, Tom? Is there a reason for that? Because it's kind of creepy. The video... There's no indication of any type of sexual harassment in any way, shape, or form. But that's the first place you always go, isn't it? That's interesting.
This guy's a predator, so I'm just saying, watch out for him. I've been fighting for years against these people, and I understand that, some people try to say I'm crying wolf, but I'm trying to make people aware that there's some bad people out there, and y'all need to watch out for people like this, I really don't care because, carrying it any further, he would have never went home. Carrying it to my home, he would have never went home.
Funny, when this was recorded, I was still in Michigan.
And, like I said, there's, when you decide you want to cross state lines to commit crimes, there's other departments of the government, FBI, people like that can get involved, and there's other things that can be involved in investigations, and all kinds of different things can be launched on people. So, especially this information of the report that was done on Danny Paden.
Wait, don't tell us it won't be available to the public. So again, you have no proof. Isn't that funny how that works?
Is not going to be available to the public. It will be provided soon after we know that it's been moved ahead on and all formal charges are applied, and then it's been asked to be forwarded to another state. That's all I can say so far, but like I said, if you see this gentleman out and about, please report him to the police department locally within your town, because like I said, who knows what his activities are and what kind of criminal things that he's up to. And especially with the probably being funded by the Satanic Temple or somebody, this is what I'm saying. People like this.
Ding, 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 ding. You win a prize.
He's not really a dangerous individual. Everybody kind of looked at him and said,
if I'm not that dangerous, why do you ask people to keep an eye out for me? Will you make up your mind already?
He really wasn't looked at tough, and he really didn't make it very long when he confronted my old lady before other people came up there and asked if she needed help or anything like that. And it was a quick interaction. So I know he recorded some things, and, you know, and my wife, she stood diligent, so...
No, she didn't stand. She followed me around. She followed me around, and it was getting really creepy, because I don't like it when people follow me around. I just wanted to be left alone. She wouldn't leave me alone, Tom. If anybody had the hots for anybody or was being harassed, I was being harassed. And she was following me around like she wanted to go out on a date or something. It was creepy.
You know, he tried to record some things, probably recorded pictures of our store or whatever. We're not unproud of our successful store, which is actually at the point now where it's selling more rings of its nature than probably anybody else in the state. It's a busy location. So,
because Tom has vast knowledge of the number of rings being sold in the state of Michigan. It's amazing, Tom. And your store, it's a dump.
Of course, you know, there's security, and the other people around us were very quick to react and help my wife, and I want to thank any of them if they're listeners.
Wait a minute. If your wife can handle herself, why does she need help? I'm getting really confused here, Tom. You seem to be contradicting yourself a lot. Why am I not surprised?
So, and continue, like I said, we need to make sure that as business people, we band together. Like I said, I've visited people before, and I didn't harass them at their business. I've harassed them in certain situations, but...
Do you even listen to what you say, Tom? You've harassed people. You accuse me of harassing people, but I have video proof I haven't. But when you do it, it's okay. What the hell? What?
Not at their business, not at their job. I could, though. As soon as I find out certain things. I mean, eye for an eye isn't that bad of a thing sometimes, but, you know, I mean... Here's the thing. Maybe I'll just let the police do his work and you know, let the police do their work, I'm sorry, from California or Michigan or whatever. That's all I'm going to say on that part of it and continue on. But realize this, that today you're one of the most connected high priestesses to Satan was harassed, and I believe it was kind of an attempted physical attack on her.
Lies.
You know, so I mean, you know, be careful around these people because that's what they're all about. And okay, we're all going to have to get a little stronger and make sure that, you know, arm yourself.
Are you going to shut up soon? Please.
Like this is going to, you know, if they're going to come around and try and stalk you and ask questions later, provided that your state, like my state, allows me to do, and it's entitled the Castle Doctrine. I suggest people study on their particular state to determine what legal ramifications they have should they take the life of another who is causing them great harm. Luckily, I wasn't there with my firearm because he wouldn't be leaving. So, but anyway.
Yeah, because you ask questions later, right? Just shoot first. That's great, Tom. You know, it really comforts me to know that there's people like you walking around. Because I didn't do anything to anyone, but you would shoot me? Yeah, Tom, we need a world full of Toms. That's exactly what we need. Fucking genius.
Onward we march. To those of us that are brave and strong, theistic Satanists that stand up against criminal elements, people that are sex offenders. You know, this guy allegedly, that I'm speaking of, Reap or Danny, allegedly, you know, fondled his daughter when she was young, and the conversations went back and forth, and it's not a very nice thing, and I'm sure that he was very raged and to find out that when I found out about this.
Yeah, I was enraged when you found out about something that never happened that you made up in your head. Yeah, I'll admit, I was a little upset that you were that stupid to make up something that stupid.
I understand people are going to get mad and, you know, whatever else, but you don't go to people's stores or their home and harass them. You can meet up with them, but, you know, you could call me and find out. There's a lot of things you could do ahead of time to avoid acting like a criminal or being a criminal in the status of what you're doing. So I did a follow-up call with the police department. I have to be careful what I say from this on, but I did forward over photos, phone numbers, everything else, so like I should have. So thanks again, and welcome to another day in Crazyville.
A day in Crazyville. You know what, Tom? That's the most honest thing you've said yet. Because I know that's where you live. Crazyville.
I always got a plan. They don't ever work, but I always got one.
I can tell you this. Boy, a lot of people think I'm dumb. I may not have the most perfect grammar. I may not have the most perfect writing style, but I never really was a English major. So I was simply a person who took a lot of philosophy classes. I took a lot of theology, and I studied religion. End of story. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a physicist. None of that. Matter of fact, I didn't really do so well in my English classes, but that's all right. You know what I accelerated in?
Being a dickhead.
That's what I accelerated in, and that's what I had the most interest in. You ever go to school, and remember when you were in school how maybe you didn't do so good in math because you hated the teacher? Well, there you go.
I'm great at math.
The other thing is I have vast life experience. I've always landed on my feet. I've always succeeded in businesses.
Yeah, for example, that escort service business you had that you owe all the money, taxes on now. Great success. Good job, Tom.
So, thus, it's established me as a leader type. I'm sorry that a lot of people can't accept that. A lot of people don't have the lifestyle I have. And, I hear these people all the time talk, well, Dr. Tom, why don't you live in a mansion if you're so successful?
I'd just like to see the paperwork that says Dr. Tom on it. That's all I'm asking.
I don't have to live in a mansion.
Do you have to live in a trailer with sheets for curtains?
The place that, the stalker wanted to put on the old video, that's a rental. I don't own that. It's more convenient for me to operate a store with my wife over on this side of the state. So we have a rental property. We actually own a house on the other side of the state.
All this dead air, Tom, really unprofessional. Really. Do something about that, will you?
Now, sorry about that long. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get something done today, but I can't. But that's all right.
Hey, Tom can't get anything done. Wow, big surprise.
Back to what I'm trying to say. Anyway, we own another house on the other side of the state, and I also have another rental, and of course we have a store, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm no failure by any means. I've never claimed that I've made a whole lot of money. Okay? I do well, and what I consider well, I guess, we probably do maybe 100,000 or so, maybe a little over that. But other than that, that's nothing to people who live in New York. I have a friend of mine that makes $30 million a year and drives around in a Rolls Royce. I mean, I'm not trying to compare myself to the elitists or the rich people whatsoever. I'm just trying to say that you too, as a Satanist, can do well. Be honest about...
Wait a minute, did Tom just say be honest? How do you do that without fucking bursting into flames?
You being a Satanist, and not worry about people, I guess, worry about people that, giving you a hard time in your everyday world. I don't have any problems at all. People don't say anything to me whatsoever. They know I'm a Satanist.
No, it's because you're an asshole. No one wants to talk to you, Tom. Why would anybody want to talk to a fucking total asshole?
The police know I'm a Satanist. There's a lot of people that know what I do. But see, here's the thing. I have helped the police on many occasions, so they inform me of all of the other people that want to troll me and everything else.
Did you just say the police keep you informed on people who are trolling you? Really? Because they don't have anything else to do? And you expect us to believe that the fucking police tell you about things, people trolling you on the internet? That's got to be a joke.
And the other thing is my best friend is an attorney. Now, he's not an attorney that is going to go out and sue everybody. No, I'm not going to make that claim. Would he do it? Yeah, he would help me. But he's kind of a criminal attorney, so he's not really.
I'm pretty sure that a criminal attorney might come in handy for you, Tom. Really.
You know, he's a criminal attorney, and he does some law with business litigation. End of story. And lately he's been doing just bankruptcy. So he certainly is not multi-versed on the internet. He's not certainly, you know what I mean? He's not all into this. He just gives me certain pieces of advice, and if I were to go to trial or whatever, he would help me for a reduced rate. That's his deal. But it's okay, because there's a lot of people out there right now that are helping me out a lot, and I appreciate that. I really do. And what are we doing in the future? Well,
I have a suggestion. How about in the future, you shut your fucking mouth? Try that.
The temples of Satan, the lodge, all these different entities that we operate are all moving forward, and we're moving forward in smaller venues. Again, we're not trying to go after the political end of things. We're not trying to be involved in trying to tell people whether they can have a baby or kill a cat or get married if they're, gay couple. We're not trying to do any of that. We're not a cause base. That's done for lobbyists and people with lots of money. If you're the only one in the crowd shouting with a sign in your hand, and I'm a Satanist and I support pro-life, or I support women's choice abortion, then you're not going to move the needle very far. So why start it in the first place? But
yeah, why try and change things? Let's just keep things the way they are, says Tom Raspotnik.
Again, there's a lot of other things you can do, and there's a few things that I'm going to challenge people on. Number one, there's a lady, and you can see it on my wall on my Facebook presence, who I'm not going to talk about her name or anything like that, but you can see it, and I would appreciate if people would donate. My wife and I donated this morning to the cause in the name of the Temples of Satan, $100, and I would ask other Satanists to help as well.
Why, Tom? Why? You're not going to move the needle very far.
The lady has been a lifelong theistic Satanist. I'm not really certain what she is now because I've lost contact with her, but her husband cheerfully provided the link to the GoFundMe thing, which seems like a lot better cause than trying to help somebody get home who came here to stalk us anyway. But
I didn't need money to get home. I needed money to buy beer. Get it straight.
The other thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be also donating to a cause that helps animals.
Why don't you donate your brain as animal feed? That way at least it'll be put to use sometime.
And the reason that we're going to do this is because...
Oh, I know. Because you look like shit after you were quoted in USA Today as killing goats for ritual sacrifice to the Lord Satan like an idiot.
What I see is I see everybody trying to put this together that we harm animals. Well, that's merely spin. Like I said, I'm not scared to admit that certain things were used in certain rituals and things like that. But like I say, I'm not advocating going out and killing ducks and kitties and mouses and, you know what I mean, or mice, or groundhogs or anything like that. So I'm actually going to help.
What's the difference between any of those animals and the goats that you're killing, Tom? What's the difference? How do you rationalize that, moron?
A organization that protects animals' rights. But I'm going to be real selective about it, and I'm going to pick one out that, supports them in a good way. That's not some kind of the sky is falling type thing like PETA or something. And then we'll see. Then I can always say, like I said, then I can always use this now. What are the critics really doing other than out there bitching and complaining? So I guess my challenge would be, if you're going to bitch about me doing animal sacrifices, and like I said, it's not something done every day, every month, or even every year. But if you want to bitch about it, then put your money where your mouth is and fund some kind of cause for it.
How about if we challenge you to stop killing animals? Even if it's once a year or once every 10 years, we challenge you to stop killing animals. That way, you won't have to donate to animal groups to try and make it look like you're not a dick.
Otherwise, you're just being a big hypocrite, which I'm going to be doing here soon. I'm not going to do a fundraising campaign. I hate GoFundMe. Like I said, there's thousands of GoFundMes that don't go anywhere. There's people out there begging in every direction at the moment. People are vastly confused what is real and what's not real, who's trying to put money in their pocket or whatever. I'm not using shit like that at all. I'm just going to grassroots it, talk to people, and raise some money here. And then I'm going to send it out as a donation in the name of the Temple of Satan.
Wait a minute. You're going to raise the money, and then you're going to give it to the charities? I wouldn't trust you for a fucking minute.
And my wife and I. So when you think we're doing such bad things, download this and remember that there's a lot of good things that we do.
You know, if you were doing that many good things, you wouldn't have to remind people that you were doing so many good things.
I can tell you this. Boy, a lot of people think I'm dumb.
So, there you have it. You have both sides. I would invite you to listen to both and consider them and decide which one sounds more true. And that I remind you that anything and everything that I've said that you need to have proof for, I can provide it. If I can't, then you're going to have to trust your own judgment. I would make the point that Tom Raspotnik and his claims are severely, at best, lacking any type of solid proof or real evidence. I mean, Tom, your word isn't enough, and I would hope that anyone else would agree that one person's word, especially with such serious claims, isn't enough. I mean, how hard is it to provide documentation? Let's see it. Until then, you really need to zip it. And for the record, I'd like to make the point that I tried to make peace with Tom Raspotnik at the end of this and told him that all the slanderous libel things that he's posted need to come down, and they need to stay down, and a public apology needs to be posted, and then he is more than welcome to go about his merry way, doing whatever he likes, wherever he likes, with whomever he likes, as long as this crap doesn't pop up again. I have no further interest with him once he does that. But Tom Raspotnik, in his infinite wisdom, refused to do so, and has told me that I'm going to pay the price for what I've done. And, yeah, I'll pay the price for what I've done, because I haven't done anything wrong. So that's fine with me. That's the way we go. This will be an ongoing story, I'm sure, because Tom, even though he claims to have moved on, he's still got the veiled threats and little jabs he's taking, thinking he's cute, thinking he's witty. And I'll tell you what, it's about time Mr. Raspotnik learned a lesson that it's time for him to shut the fuck up and quit telling lies about people. And it's time for him to quit spreading disinformation. We don't allow religious people to spread disinformation and bullshit people unchecked. We don't allow you to do the same either, Tom. Sorry. And I will not stop until that's accomplished. So, I want to thank Shea for letting me play his tune on the podcast. I want to thank you for listening. I want to remind you that, yes, we do need to have some money to help run the things and the projects that we're doing. And if you have an extra, few bucks, it would be, and could throw it at us, it'd be nice, and we'd be thankful. Don't forget to go to the Satanic Temple website, thesatanictemple.com, of course, because they definitely need to be supported. And if you'd like to support the Modern Satanism podcast, there's a link on the website that you can do that too. I'll remind you again that there is money being thrown and religious organizations by fistfuls of money. And if you don't support the little things that the secular portion of society is doing, secular and atheists and skeptics, whatever rings true with you, if you don't support the people that are the voices for those things, then what are you thinking? Because you've got to support those things. You've got to support those people, those projects, the activism. You've got to support it. So we could use all the help that you can spare, okay? And this is only going to get harder. It's not going to get easier as we try and bring the world to some enlightenment and to some progress. Not easy work. I think that anyone listening to this will understand that. And I'd also like to make a note, while I'm thinking about it, that I don't have anything against Satanists who are theists. I let them do their thing. But it's like I said, don't force it on other people. Don't expect me to embrace it or to tolerate it when it's infringing on myself or society's ability to move forward, because then I'll have something to say about it. And Tom Raspotnik, I'd like to give you a special message, and I'll do this in public. You need to think about the things you've said and the things that they can do to other people. I had someone this week tell me that you were just a troll. But you know what, Tom? I don't think you're just a troll. I think you're just a dick. And I think that you don't care about other people. And I think that you're an idiot if you think that anyone believes the incredible lies you tell. I don't know. I'm probably not the one who can wake you up, but I sincerely do hope you wake up someday and realize the damage you've done to people and the potential damage that you've done to people that you don't have a right to do. It's not your place to do, and you don't have just cause for doing that except for your need to bully people, feel important, and I don't know. I really feel kind of bad for you because it's obvious your personality, you have some personal problems inside your brain, and you're having trouble dealing with them, and other people are paying the price. There's a good saying that I like, and it's with every breath you take, others suffer. And unfortunately, that applies here. Okay? And to the listening audience, thank you very much. And another Modern Satanism coming up with chapter head, one of the chapter heads. I'm not telling you which one. And probably a little more on this story because I still got a chat with the police department to play for you. I think you'll enjoy greatly. Okay, see you on the next podcast, and hail